It is now 14 days until Election Day, and tonight we're getting a sense of how early voting is going in Ohio.
Yeah, so far, more than 847,000 votes have been cast, either via early in-person voting or absentee ballots that have been returned already.
We were told that most of the ballots cast early have come from those 65 and older who are not affiliated with any party. Cuyahoga County had the most votes cast thus far, followed by Franklin and Hamilton counties. If you want to vote early, in person, you can do so at your local Board of Elections.
And we are fortunate to have Signal Cleveland Managing Editor Mark Naymik here. He's back this week to try to break down a key issue that you're going to see on your ballot. We're talking about issue 1.
Of course, Mark, a very important issue here. Kind of remind us what's at stake.
Well, this decides how we draw maps for congressional districts and for our state lawmakers. So democracy's at stake, so it's pretty high stakes.
Okay, there's a lot of confusion that people have when they look at this because both sides are trying to play it as the other side is at fault of putting it out there in terms that people just can't understand. Is either side right about how it's being displayed?
Yeah, let's break it down because they're arguing over. Yeah, people are arguing over the term gerrymandering, and that is a phrase used when you talk about how you manipulate the maps to the benefit of a party. Democrats largely support issue 1. They were moved or fueled to put this on the ballot after all the headlines that we covered a couple years ago over the map-making process, which went to the Supreme Court. So they're arguing it's time for a change. Republicans generally are against this. In part, they already control the process, but by state law, the party in charge gets more seats on this redrawing commission that's out there. So issue 1 changes it. What's confusing is both sides claim that the other side is going to create gerrymandering. But again, that's that manipulation. So what we do know is the process will significantly change. Republicans say, hey, this is going to be given to unchecked, unelected officials to be in charge. Democrats saying, yes, that's what we want because enough of the manipulation that this will now be nonpartisan. So that's what, unfortunately, voters have to try to balance.
In the last minute or so we have with you, Mark, I want to go back to the Senate race we talked about this week between Sherrod Brown and Bernie Moreno. One of the most expensive Senate races in the country. 2 weeks out from Election Day, are the polls showing any indication as to who could be on top here?
It's showing that it remains super close, and we know from issue polling and what we see on TV in those ads that there is, immigration, transgendered rights are driving this, keeping it close. That's also pretty common across the country. The money, it still is the most expensive in the country, and I think it's going to come down to the wire. I mentioned before the average of polls had Sherrod up by a couple percentage points, but in a state that we know is a Trump state who could carry this by 5 or 6 percentage points, that makes this a dead even.
All right, Mark Naymik, as always, we'll see you, I'm sure, next week and the week after, which happens
Yes.
to be Election Day. All right,
Then you won't have to see
No,
me, and I know
We're
everyone will
happy
be
to
happy
see
that the
you.
election's
No,
over.
we're always happy to see you. We
Always
need you
happy
to
to
break
see you.
through all of this.
And we have
Mark.
a full guide breaking down issue 1 in the Senate race as well. What a yes and vote mean for issue 1. You can find that at WKYC.com.